Morning, everyone. It's Joe Waxman, and I'm back with another video. I want to talk again about eclipses, and I got my little eclipse avatar on the wall. I think that's very cool. Um, it being eclipse season, eclipses coming up and all that. And here I got my really nice little, it almost looks like a shooting star or something. Nice little avatar coming through from the light, reflected through the stained glass windows in my room. Um, it's a nice omen. I read everything. I read things like tea leaves. Everything is saying something. So that's a positive omen for an eclipse video. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, Donald Trump. All right, whether you love him or hate him, can't ignore him, right? He's the president of the United States, and the elections are about as exciting as anything could be ever. Wow, amazing stuff going on. Donald Trump gave a very powerful speech yesterday. There's very serious allegations of fraud and corruption and cheating on the election. And on top of that, we've got some fantastic astrological stuff going on. We just had an eclipse on November 30th. I talked about that. We're about to come up to another one on December 14th, a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And then we're going to have the Great Conjunction. So I mean, amazing astrological events are happening, and just as amazing things are happening in the world, politically, socially, economically, everything. Just a really exciting time to be alive. What can I say? It's super exciting. A lot of people were inspired by Donald Trump's speech yesterday. And I realized something. I have this aspect, so I want to point it out because I understand it. North Node, it's conjunct the Sun, but it's also conjunct Uranus. Now, if you understand Uranus in astrology, Uranus deals with truth. It deals with the shocking truth. It deals with, rebellion and freedom and liberty and awakening and the truth. Really, there's no two ways about it with Uranus. Uranus is not a personal planet. Uranus does not play sides, doesn't sell itself to gain benefit. It really just wants the truth. That's all it wants. And you can't ignore astrology. That's why I love it. It takes out the bias. We're not manipulating anything here. Anyone can type in this information and get the same stuff. This is where the planets were when Donald Trump was born. You can't make this stuff up. Okay, there's no bias here. This is North Node conjunct Uranus. I have it at a much wider orb, but just like everything be damned. I don't care. The truth comes first when you have this. With North Node, it's the direction a person is pulled, no matter what you do or what you say. Now, you could say, well, North Node conjunct Sun is a sign of narcissism. Okay. Potentially, yeah, especially when they're young and immature. But it also creates a huge personality. And we know that. We know Donald Trump has a huge personality. In Gemini, Geminis are super interesting anyway. I'm a Gemini. And anyone who knows Geminis, I mean, that's one of the main qualities of a Gemini. It's just really interesting. Some people say they're not that reliable, but they're super interesting. So huge personality. 10th house is the most public house. I mean, describes Donald Trump, like huge personality with a huge, North Node conjunct Uranus. What else could it mean? It could mean like just outrageously rebellious, rebel without a cause, freedom at all cost, independent, completely independent. Uranus does not want to belong to any groups, okay? I have it conjunct my ascendant, and it's just like I'm allergic to being a part of any group. Like I don't want it. I'm alone. I'm me. I'm independent. I'm independent to a fault. I have North Node. Um, roughly, it's actually like 9 degrees from my Uranus, nine and some, and it's applying. Meaning it's closing in on each other. So it goes stronger with age. Donald Trump is applying as well. His is much closer. Um, so, you know, is Donald Trump a sellout? There's no sellout with Uranus. There's no selling out with Uranus. Uranus doesn't care. Uranus doesn't sell. It's just its nature. It's very focused. It's an outer planet. It's outside of Saturn. It's not a personal planet. It has no personal agenda. It's not, it's just, its agenda is truth. So there's no selling out with Uranus. And that's not, and that's not like me speaking in favor of Donald Trump. That's me speaking the truth about astrology. North Node conjunct Uranus. I have it. Everything be damned. The truth comes first. So that's one thing to point out here. The other thing, I mean, obviously, the nodal returns. It's just past his nodal return, but it's still in effect. And then this eclipse is happening. Donald Trump was born on an eclipse. Okay, so first of all, let's get that out. A lunar eclipse, full lunar eclipse, a very tight lunar eclipse, right? 1 degree, a little over a degree off from his sun, so a little over a degree from being exact, but very, very tight. Look how close it is to the North Node and the South Node, 2 degrees. So roughly 2 degrees. That's very close. That's total lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses mean the culmination, a culminating time, a time of culmination, like a ripe fruit harvest. The fruit that just so full, it just falls from the tree. It's the time of full culmination, of ripening karma, and we can see that. I mean, that's very evident in Donald Trump's life. I mean, look how he's a rich man, president of the United States, independently wealthy, had his own TV show. I mean, the guy's life is the definition of ripened karma. Okay, ripened karma means you don't eat the fruit before it's ripe. You don't eat the grain before it's ripe. It grows for a long time, and then at the culmination, at the ripening, when it's time to harvest, that's when you take it and you reap the rewards. So Donald Trump's life, in a sense, is an embodiment of a lunar eclipse, right? The ripening, the ripe fruit, the harvest, the harvesting of karma. Okay, he's reaping many lifetimes of karmic rewards, or at least one lifetime, I can say, probably many lifetimes. So that's one thing to notice. The other thing is that this total solar eclipse, which is another very tight, the closer it is to the nodes, the more complete it is. It's total solar eclipse. It's happening right on his eclipse, his lunar eclipse, right? Solar eclipse on his lunar eclipse, basically, which is, I mean, it's amazing, right? The nodes are almost exactly conjunct, but the sun will be at 22 degrees, so it's exactly opposite his sun. And the moon is not showing here, will be totally conjunct the sun during the eclipse. Mercury is coming in there at 19 degrees, 2 minutes, exactly conjunct the nodes at 19:57 minutes, so almost exactly. Amazing, like you can't make this stuff up. And consider the timing of where we're at. This is like the most fascinating election ever, okay? It's like the most fascinating thing ever, right? And here we have the astrology that's equally as fascinating, relating to America, to just in general, and to Donald Trump's chart. It's like, how do you make this stuff up? I mean, reality is endlessly like, wow, I can't even believe it. So what does it mean though? Okay, it's in his fourth house. A superficial um, interpretation could be something like, well, a solar eclipse means a new beginning, whereas a lunar eclipse means a ripening karma. Solar eclipse means new beginning. Solar eclipse is like planting the seeds because it's a new moon, right? New moons mean starts. New start, new beginning, new start. Well, it's his fourth house. Okay, he lost the presidency, supposedly on the surface, right? Means he'll move out. I don't think so. You know, people might argue that that's has what it means, and that it's in his fourth house, home, family, on his moon. So that means new beginning for his, his moon, new start, new for his mind, his inner mind, his inner world. But it's also, mind you, he was born in an eclipse, so an eclipse is activating his natal eclipse, which is ripened karma. So some sort of karmic destiny is involved here, right? And the sun, being exactly opposite his natal sun, eclipsed, oppositions relate to others. Oppositions relate to our opponents in life, our people who are against us. Look at his whole first presidency, right from the inception, right from the start. There was, tremendous amount of opposition towards Donald Trump. All the media was against him, all the other politicians, everyone. It's just been like an amazing 4-year assault on Donald Trump. Russia collusion, impeachment, spying. They did everything to try and get him out of power. That points to a very strong opposition. The opposition to his natal sun is being eclipsed. Okay? Think about this. This is really interesting, right? He is getting a new start, but it's not, the new start is that actually this whole thing could turn around. He could get a new term in presidency, and the new start really would be that the opposition failed, right? The opposition is having a new start. The opposition is starting over. Because, that's the way it makes sense to me. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think there's more to it than simple, just, like the way the media is playing it out to be. Because also the media is involved because Mercury is here, right? And so Mercury is part of the eclipse. Mercury relates to communications, media, information, facts. So new information, new facts. We're not continuing the same old storyline. We're having a new storyline. Mercury represents media, okay? Now it's happening in Sagittarius. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter right now is debilitated in Capricorn, hemmed in by malefics. Saturn rules Capricorn, so Jupiter is not doing well. Like I said before, it's like Jupiter has coronavirus. But Jupiter and Saturn are about to change signs in Aquarius. Saturn co-rules Aquarius along with Uranus. Donald Trump is very Uranian. But Jupiter at least will not be debilitated. And esoterically, like I pointed out before, Jupiter rules Aquarius in esoteric astrology. I know it's a different astrology. A lot of people might not be familiar with it or might not even, pay much attention to it. But there is some, if we're looking at dignities from an esoteric perspective, from a soul perspective, Jupiter gains dignity in Aquarius. So, that's a fresh start. That's great for Donald Trump. That's great for the solar eclipse. And let's see, some other things. Okay, well, Mars is trining. Look, Mars is at 20 degrees. So Mars is trining, heading its support to to this eclipse, which is hitting Donald Trump's moon and south node. Neptune is squaring it in Pisces. And Neptune, again, this is opposition, house of others. So Neptune in Pisces, deceit, lies. Okay, I mean, I'm not making any of this up. This is standard definition. This is basically what Neptune means. You know, square, square the nodes, it's square his sun and moon and nodes and Uranus. So whatever square is causing it's like squaring off with someone. It's you know, like a fight, like a boxing match. It's a competition. So Donald Trump is fighting the lies. You know, I mean, that's very clear. It's in his seventh house, the house of others. Neptune is, you know, on the lower end. The higher end is spirituality, but the lower end is deception, lies, cheating, hidden secrets, fabrication, tales, illusion, delusion. Okay. By the way, Joe Biden has Neptune in the 10th. Okay. Whereas Donald Trump has Uranus in the 10th. Okay. Neptune, deception, lies, deceit, public image. Joe Biden publicly is a cheat and a liar. I mean, that's just his chart. Other astrologers will say the same thing. You can't, I mean, that's what Neptune in the 10th means. It's deception. Donald Trump is truth. Uranus represents Uranus is called the Great Awakener. I have it conjunct my ascendant. This is what it means, right? Okay, so what else? Okay, the other thing is Donald Trump's moon. Okay, Black Moon and Lilith, I mean, there's this tale about Black Moon and Lilith, but Black Moon and Lilith, what it means in regards to the moon is it shows the distance of the moon from the earth. It relates to the moon in its elliptical orbit. The moon's orbit is not circular, it's elliptical. So sometimes it's closer to the earth, sometimes it's farther away. When Lilith is close to the moon is far away. And a far moon is a slow moon, a far moon is a distant moon. And this distant moon versus near moon, when it's opposite, when moon is opposite Lilith, it shows that the moon is close. It's a supermoon. So the difference is this. Moon is the closest planet. It's not really a planet, but it's a planetoid or moon. It's our moon. It's a orbital. It's a satellite to the Earth. It rotates around the Earth. So it's very close to us. It's a very personal planet. It relates to water, affects the tides, so it's very emotional, right? Moon relates to our emotions. Moon relates to our mind. So a close moon is great for people who need their emotions, you know, like artists and you know, that type, emotional people, like people who need their emotions, who work with their emotions. Artists, dancers, painters, writers, you know, people like that. For a leader, for a public figure, a far moon is better because that means more detached, more bigger view, right? Less emotionally involved. So this is perfect for a leader, right? This is a very far moon. It's almost as far as it gets. So that's a far moon, that's a distant moon, that's a detached moon. It's not an emotionally involved moon. If it was too emotional, it'd be too biased, caring too much about its own personal needs, right? This is a moon that doesn't care so much about its personal needs. It cares about the needs of the many, because that's what a far moon represents versus a near moon. So I just wanted to throw that in there, right? This is a good moon for a leader. It's in Jupiter's house. Jupiter is in Libra. By the way, Jupiter is making a mutual reception by exaltation with Saturn. So this is interesting. It's square, but it's still an aspect. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. Saturn is exalted in Libra, right? So that's good because Moon is in Jupiter's house. So Jupiter is gaining strength from this. it's a day chart, so Jupiter's out of sect, but it's making aspect. Jupiter is trining the Sun North Node, and Uranus in the 10th house is giving him a lot of strength. So that's one of the reasons for his big success. What else? Uranus is transiting his 9th house, so it's shaking up his beliefs. It's, you know, causing shocks to his foundational core belief system, right? 9th house deals with our higher mind, our beliefs. So it's kind of, you know, empowering him, like shocking his like core values, his core beliefs. And just one other thing, I mean, there's so many allegations of Donald Trump being a racist, but he has Jupiter conjunct Chiron conjunct Juno in the 2nd house in Libra. 2nd house deals with personal values, and Libra deals with fairness, and Chiron deals with rejection. If we're going to look at how someone deals with the outcasts, the rejects, the unwanted, minority groups and all that, look to their Chiron, see where the Chiron is. If it's badly aspected, if it's in a bad position, then, you know, that could be an indication of how they deal with those who are less fortunate, the rejects, the outcasts, you know, that could be a sign of a racist, someone who rejects others who feel less than them. But he has Jupiter conjunct Chiron, and Juno is the sign of marriage. So he wants to marry, you know, like he's very close to the rejected, the minorities. Libra is all about fairness. Anyway, the guy's not a racist. These are his values. These are his personal values, right? I mean, this is astrology. It's not just personal opinion, right? Okay. What else? Yeah. So basically, when Jupiter moves into Aquarius on December 19th, and then the Great Conjunction December 21st, we're going to see major shift, and it's going to have a lot to do with Donald Trump. It's going to have a lot to do with the election. Things are going to turn around because remember, I did America's chart. It's on the ascendant of America, and the 7th house was the lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse will be on the 1st house. It's right on Donald Trump's moon. So it's going to have a lot. It's going to have a big change, a big effect. I think things are going to change dramatically regarding the outcome of the election and the media. Media is represented by Mercury. And Jupiter going into Aquarius is going to change the tide of all these things to a much more positive way. We're not going to continue in the same direction because these eclipses are karmic ripenings and new beginnings. You know, we had two. We had this lunar eclipse, which is the karmic ripening, you know, which means that everything that was hidden is going to be revealed, you know, the harvesting, and then planting new seeds after that with the solar eclipse, right? It's going to have everything to do with Donald Trump, and it's going to have everything to do with this election. So things are not what they seem. Things are going to change. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. I hope you found this interesting. I find it like incredibly fascinating. Like that's why I make this videos like that. It's just like super interesting to me. I mean, I don't watch TV shows or movies anymore. I you know, astrology is more interesting to me. So guys, take care. Have a great you know, month of December. 2020 is almost over. Enjoy the ride. This is the greatest show on earth. That's all I can say. So much, so interesting, endlessly fascinating. Okay, thanks.